Welcome to Weeds and Wilds Conversations. Our next guest is Martini La'Rossi, someone that has built a purpose filled life on their own terms. Martini is a mother, an Army veteran, and a workforce development leader who has spent her life learning from the real world. Now, as the founder of Mawamo, she's channeled her spirit into a wonderful line of luxury home and body fragrances that are designed to help you care for yourself first. Driven by a love for community and a passion for uplifting others, please tune in to hear some of her journey.
My name is Martini. I am a mother. I am an entrepreneur. I have worked in workforce development since 2007 or 8.
Okay.
Um, my current endeavor, and hopefully my long term one, depending on how I pivot, is Mawamo, and we
Okay.
offer bath, body, and home fragrances.
Okay. Okay. And so I recognize Mawamo as like a, it seems like a luxury and artisanal goods company. Okay. But it also seems a bit holistic because I see you connecting with your customers and a lot of different other business owners and things like that, like online. There's like these communities I'll see you in sometimes doing these
Yeah.
virtual conversations, and of course, things like that kind of. It includes the full person, because obviously you don't have to do that as a business owner. I want to know, like for you, what was the process? I want to say maybe career wise that led you to the point of where you are, like right now. So,
So I'm from Richmond, California, born and raised. And education, a lot of my education is just real world education, just working in it, learning the skills, and just living life. I do have some college education. My background is in business administration and management. However, that does help, but I didn't pursue it any further than an AA. So a lot of my experience and what I bring to the table just comes from my daily interactions with people and skills that I have learned over time, and
okay,
perfected, and my love for people and wanting to uplift people.
okay. And what was your experience like growing up in Richmond, California?
Exciting. Um, I grew up in a multi-generational household, so I was raised by my great grandmother, but my aunts, my dad, even my mom on my mom's side of the family, everyone was like interwoven into this one big family. So for me, it was exciting. I got to witness many generations of experience. I was able to um, get a lot of wisdom at a very young age, being brought up under my great grandmother. So she was very impactful in the things that she brought over with her to California from Texas. So we were put on very early, about the Black experience and what it was to be like strong women and things like that. That's what really shaped my perspective. And she taught us not to be scared of anything. So I grew up carefree and just winging life to the best of my ability without getting in trouble. But so that's what it was for me. It was just like go out there, find yourself, do whatever you want to do. If it don't work, try something else.
Okay, okay. And so when going through the city, were there any because being in inner city there's a lot of different like organizations, programs, and things like that, but do you feel like you participated in any of those, or like what was your experience like as a teen and young adult going through the city of Richmond? I know you said you like worked and did like some college and things like that, but what else along the way would you feel like within the city helped you to shape you and become the person that you are right now?
Oh my goodness, for sure. So we participated in PAL. So the Police Activity League, they were very instrumental in shaping like our experiences, field trips, of course, knowledge of, steering clear of like substance abuse, use, and things like that. We were also a part of summer programs, whether it was for the neighborhood house of North Richmond, Shield Reed's Community Center. We even participated in some things over at the Nevin Community Center down in Central Richmond. Um, but we were just kind of like all over the city, wherever my grandmother could find a resource for us to kind of be out, and participating and socializing with other kids and getting different experiences, right? Because it isn't only the experience of your household that shapes you, it's your community. So she always made sure that we were a part of those programs. We did the plunge. We were being shipped off to like Camp Mendocino and things like that for the summer. So there were so many different things that we did. Dance programs. We were tutoring children, but we were also brought up in a house where we ran a board and care. So we
Mm,
were always involved in connection with community and with people with different families and walks of life.
okay, okay. The boarding care facility, was that for like youth or adults, or what type of
It
people did you
was
serve there?
um it was for adults, so typically
Okay.
elder adults that maybe had phased out of, say, or didn't quite fit into, like, say, a Shields nursing home environment or something like that, and their families wanted to private pay for them to be somewhere where they knew that they would be taken care of and provided for. So they would come and they lived in the house with us, and they had their own rooms, and we created a menu for them, and so they knew what they were going to get every day of the week for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We prepared the food, we took it to them, we made sure that they were just taken care of.
I like that. Do you feel like that attributed to you? Well, first of all, I feel like you have a very nurturing energy about you. Do you feel like that type of thing attributed to that, or would you say this is just inherently who you
I think a part of it is inherently who I am, but I also believe that that was nurtured into me
are?
as well. I don't know if I would have been as nurturing if I hadn't been brought up being a nurturer, because
Okay.
I also have a very um like a very lone wolf type of personality. So I'm
Yeah.
okay completely in isolation, but
hmm
I also crave community in a way where I can show up and be of service.
Okay. 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 Yeah, that whole nature versus nurture thing. I feel like it sounds like you have the duality of both there, which is
Yeah.
great. hmm
Yeah.
hmm
No, it's a struggle because sometimes I be like, child, I don't want to be
Yeah.
bothered. But then there's still something about it that makes me, not makes me, but that calls me to want to help other people and to know that if I see a void, why not fill the void?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah. With you having that type of outlook on life, there's a big agenda now that everyone's pushing that's like fill your own cup first, give from your overflow, and so on and so forth. And that's something that's new. Do
hmm
you subscribe to that, or do you feel like you're giving just wherever whatever you have? Like how
no, 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 no. No, no,
okay.
no. Um, it is definitely give from your overflow. And
Okay.
I know that's new in way of pushing it to the masses because we have always been taught to just show up, show up, and show up. But that's not something that I've ever subscribed to. Like, yes, I will help you. Yes, I will show up. And now I might not be fully restored, but I'm not going to be fully depleted showing up for somebody else either.
Yeah.
So I definitely say
Okay.
save yourself first, because if you can't keep yourself afloat, then you also become dead weight to somebody else.
hmm
So make sure that the tools that you need are intact and that the things that make you feel whole that you can access first. And then yes, by all means, unselfishly pour from your overflow. And even if it's just a trickle, but make sure that whatever you're doing isn't putting you in a place of a deficit or it's going to be a detriment to what it is that you need to do long term.
Okay. Why is it important to you to show up for people?
Um, because you just never, I don't know, you just never know what somebody is going through. And I know there's been times in my life where I've needed people to show up for me, and I didn't have that. And sometimes people don't even know that they need people to show up for them. So to be able to see someone and know that they need something, and to be able to say, I'm not sure what's going on, but if you need me, I'm here.
hmm
It means a lot. It could change someone's entire trajectory. So it's just something that I feel in my heart is just the right thing to do. Like, if you can, do it. If you can't, that's understandable, right?
Yeah.
But if you can, try to make a way to ease somebody else's situation, even if it's on the most minute level. You never know what direction it may push them. To say, I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel held. There's someone that's willing to go out of their way to just make sure that I'm okay.
I will say, with knowing you and the experiences that I've had with you, I feel like the majority of them, with you showing up in any capacity, I would always like feel like it was something that I needed. Would never have like a requirement of like, oh, I need this, I need that. It didn't, and you're a very talented person, you're educated, you have a lot of life experience, so you definitely could have shown up in a different capacity, demanding certain things, but it was always such a humility there. So I felt like it had to be something that was like at core for you to do that. So, but the time that I did share space with you, like after you would leave, I would feel like I actually needed that. That's why I just, thought to ask and inquire about that. And it just came to me in this moment right now when you were talking. So I just thought I'd put that out there. Back
Yes.
to the city of Richmond. It's a pretty complex city. There's layers, depending on where you
Hmm.
live here, you have different experiences here. And what would you say were like some noteworthy experiences that you had that you had to overcome um,
Mm.
as being a
Um,
member of the city?
I mean, there were a lot. Yeah, while there were great experiences, there were also challenges, right? Like I grew up surrounded by substance abuse, violence, um, teen pregnancy, trying to navigate not getting caught in those traps because it was easy because it was prevalent. And it wasn't always easy to make the right choice, or to go with the narrative that walking the straight and narrow wasn't cool, um so Richmond definitely has its traps and things like that that we can get caught up in. So it's it's a blessing for any of us to come out with our head on straight and trying to pour back into the community that poured so much into us, but that also took a lot away from us.
Yeah. What tools did you use to help you avoid those traps?
Um, Creativity and just not being afraid to be quirky or weird or just leaning into whatever I felt like my passions were at that time.
Okay.
I've just never been afraid to be myself. And so if I don't like it, I don't like it. If I don't want to be involved in it, I'm not going to be involved. And it doesn't matter. Um, it has never really mattered to me what anyone else has thought of me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that helps. Okay. And so you're also a veteran, right?
I served in the United States Army.
Okay. Okay. How was that experience for you?
Um, it was, the honest answer, it was BS.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but it was worth the experience.
Okay.
It was worth the experience. It really allowed me to understand myself better on a deeper level, for me to be able to understand, no, girl, you just really are who you are.
Okay.
Um, like there was nothing that those people could have done to make me get with their program.
Mhm.
They tried. I got in trouble a lot. And so, I mean, but it was fun. It was a way for me to release a lot of aggression and like physical exertion that I needed to get out, from growing up in Richmond. But I wouldn't recommend it.
That was going to be my next question for you. I was going to say, would you recommend that? Okay, would you just not recommend it for a person that's more like your personality type, or would you just like not recommend it in general?
I would say, I mean, I definitely wouldn't recommend it for somebody that has my strong of a personality. Absolutely not. But I also would not recommend it for anyone unless you have to. Like, the trade off isn't weighted evenly,
Okay.
right? Like, yes, you're going to go there, you're going to get some benefits, you're going to, You can be a patriot. You can do whatever your reason is for going. But the trade off on the worst end of it is you're trading your life. And for me, I was just like, what did I sign up for? Wait a minute. I really might die. Like, like that was the thing. Like, I could have stayed home for
Oh
that.
my
That's
goodness.
what I wanted to do.
What type of work
But that's,
did you do there? Like what did you what like because there's a different capacities there. Like what capacity did
yeah,
you work in there?
I was a dietitian.
Okay. Okay.
I was
You
a
know what?
dietitian.
And that sounds like an easy job and it just wasn't for you.
It was not. I was a
Okay.
dietitian. I went in originally wanting to be a ranger in special forces and all these different things. Like, I really wanted to be in like these really extreme roles, right? But
Mhm.
I don't know what it is now. But at the time that I was there, women could not be take part in those combat units.
Okay.
And so then I was like, well, let me get the shortest thing I can get so I can get on up out of here.
Mhm.
Because if I can't do what I want to do, like, then I need to go. But
Yeah.
because I am very much a person that loves like physical exertion and stuff like that. So, and I also like, I get adrenaline rushes. Like, I enjoy the unknown. I enjoy like being able to figure it out and okay, and plan and be strategic and do things like that. Like, I enjoy those type of things. So once I got there and I was like, this boring. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't come here for a regular job.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So now we're going to fast forward here. We're going to talk about
Okay.
Mawamo Candle Co. When did you
Okay.
found this company?
I founded Mawamo in on April 3rd, so we'll be coming up on our 6th year this coming Friday, April 3rd of 2020. It was a birthday gift to myself.
Nice, nice. And the name is
Yeah.
really unique. Well, how did you come up with the name?
So the name is the combination of my daughter's initials. So I have one angel baby and one rainbow baby, and so it's
Okay.
their initials put together to form Mawamo.
Okay. You know, that's one of the things that I admire about Black culture. And I don't know much. I don't know if other cultures are this way. Maybe so, but I love the way we make up names. It just
Can we
seems
do it?
yeah, I have these experiences where people are always like butchering my name, and sometimes I feel like it's intentional. Like I just left a meeting not too long ago, and the lady called me Keisha, but everything that I signed up for with this place, I just put the initial K, just refer to me as K because of that experience I have.
Right.
And so, I've just been in a place recently where I'm like accepting that I'm just from a culture of people where we make up names and people should be charged to ask your name, learn your name, pronounce your name properly, as opposed to me just saying my name is Kay.
Because K isn't your name,
It's not.
and there's power in your name,
Yeah.
right? So every
Yeah.
time someone speaks your name,
Mm-hmm.
then no, there's power in your name. They should absolutely have to know your name, and they should properly pronounce it, and they should be corrected until they get it right.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah, and there is, and my cousin named me, and she's actually a veteran her too, but my cousin named me. My mom was a teenager, so I had a period where I was just like, oh, it's a name a teenager up. I was just like not wanting to use it, but the reality is when people are making things up, they have to feel it. So whatever the case is, it is, there is something behind it.
Mm,
So
yes,
yeah, I'm glad I asked that question about your business name because that's a significant point, with Black people that we do, create things, and as we obviously know, but that's a whole other conversation. So okay, so
right.
okay, and so the company started with candles. Is that what you started with?
Yeah, so we started off initially just with candles and wax melts. Those were our initial offerings. And we were on that heavy for about 2 or 3 years. And I want to say about 2020, the end of 2023, is when I started like dabbling into other things. I was like, well, I don't just want to offer candles. Like that don't complete my experience, you
Yeah.
know? And so I was like, well, when I come home and I light a candle, then what else am I doing? What am I preparing to do? And so I thought, oh, well, I'm gonna take a bath or a shower, So then, okay, well, let me try to do. I think I dabbled in what is it called? Dag on it, milk baths. There we go. I'm
Okay.
like, I'm
Okay.
like, wait a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. What is it called? Bath soaks, milk baths, that type of thing. So I was doing that, and I like that. And I was like, okay, but then when you get out the bathtub, like, then what are you gonna do? And so it became this me wanting to offer a full experience, per se. So it just one thing turns into another thing. And then as I added different things, certain different products became standout over the candles, I guess. People still love the candles, but it became, oh, well, can you come to an event, but can you bring your body butters, or can you bring um the soaps, or can you bring this, that, and the other? And I was like,
Okay.
okay, well, let me slow down on the candles and focus on what's calling my name.
Okay. And so that's interesting. When someone invites you to vend at an event, you are flexible enough to like bring what it is that they prefer you have there, or do you typically
Mhm.
just you do? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm flexible. If I only had the offering of candles, then it would just be either I can't come, right? But right, like no problem. I have those products available, of course.
Okay.
So it's opened up for me to be in places that I may have not been able to get into because the candle making community is so heavily saturated. And not to a bad thing, because there's enough money out here for every one of us. But when you're working in a small community of people, then you don't want to show up to an event and there's six candle makers.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So then you want some other options and variety. And so offering the bath and body gives me that ability to be able to pivot when needed.
Okay, okay. Yeah, the candle market is heavy. It is heavy, but it's a really nice market to be in. And I that's one of the other communities that I've seen you into, like different candle maker communities and things like
Yeah.
that. What would you say differentiates your candles from everyone else? Like as far as like just in general, what differentiates your candles from everyone else? Why should people purchase your candles?
I think it's the intention behind not just my candles, but my brand. Um, the stories behind the candles. Like if a person was to ever get in a conversation with me about, well, what does this scent mean, or what does that scent, like there's a whole visual world created behind each and every fragrance. Like when I smell a scent, it creates its own story in my head before I'm able to bring it to life. So I can pull all, you know what I mean? So I can pull all the pieces together so that it translates well. So that I know, okay, no, this scent definitely belongs in this type of space. It's for this type of person. They may be going through this type of season. And so I see you. This was made specifically for you. I thought of you in these moments.
Okay. And then what about like the sourcing? What type of wax? What are you using? Because you make all of the candles. I wanted
Hmm.
to I mean that's sometimes not always obvious because there's candle companies where it's like wholesale
Right.
white label, but you make these candles. What are you making yours with? What's important to you about the way you make your candles?
So we use a coconut apricot wax, and we use cotton wicks, and everything is sustainably sourced, right? Coconut is one of the most sustainable and replenishable um, plant-based waxes on the market. There's pros and cons to all materials. Um, but coconut is sustainable. um, I love the aesthetic of it. It's beautiful. They create this bright white finish that doesn't like compete or contrast no matter what type of vessel or jar that I'm using, or even in your home. It creates a just clean aesthetic. And I chose cotton wicks just because wood wicks I'm not a fan. They're beautiful, they're aesthetic, but they're also inconsistent in my testing. So I want to Like I want to deliver a consistent experience every time. I don't want you to come to me and think, okay, I might, it's hit or miss with this or that. No, I want you to get something that you feel like your investment was worth it.
Okay. Is it just like a pure cotton, or is there like a metal in there too?
No, so they do have, I believe they were called zinc wicks or something like that, that some people do use, but mine is just a full braided cotton.
Okay.
And it depends on your supplier, but sometimes they can be dipped in like a food grade paraffin wax, or other times they're dipped in a vegetable wax.
Okay, so they're
So it
also
just
like safe. They're also like healthier. I'm using the word healthy because I know, sometimes with the candles, you get them, they smell good, you burn them, they have that metal, and that causes health issues.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, so
okay.
they did ban, I don't know if it was zinc core wicks, but they've been banned for a long time.
Oh,
Now
okay, okay,
there are some wicks that do have a metal core, but they have been deemed tested safe to use.
okay,
But the
okay.
ones that were previously being used, they have done away with those, so those are not safe to use here, at least in the U.S. Um, but I think that each maker finds what works for them and for their own personal reasons. Like I'm big I'm big on like sustainability, but I'm not gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, I'm gonna
Okay.
do my best within reason to deliver a product that I know is not gonna come into your home and cause you any more due stress than I'm trying to help you relieve.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be intentional and mindful in that regard. But there are some things where, you know, um, I know some people like don't like plastic and don't like different things. There's just some things within the industry that we just have to kind of deal with, the lesser of two evils to get to the bigger picture.
Okay. And with you mentioning the stories behind your candle, that's one of the changes that I've noticed in your marketing over recent time is like these really illustrative it's more than an image. It's like it almost like you look at it and it's like telling a whole full out story. Is that something that you are coming up with like by yourself? Like what is that? Where does that come from? Because it's like a name. The names are unique, and then the description is very illustrative, and then the imagery just ties all the way in. Like how does that process come about?
So everything for the most part is me. Like I do have a business bestie, so I will bounce things off of her from time to time. Um, but I think my aesthetic lens tends to be more like cinematic and editorial, right? So when I look at my brand, I look at it from like a holistic standpoint. Like I want the whole brand to like tell a story, to be to almost be like a movie or a book, to be a narrative from one thing to the other thing. And before, I didn't really it was there, but I didn't understand how to articulate it.
Mhm.
And so as the brand evolved, and I was like, oh, you can do this. Like this doesn't only have to apply to these type of brands or into this sector of the market, right? Like I was like, I want something that looks like editorial. I want it to look like it can go on the cover of a magazine, or I want the imagery. I always say I wanted my imagery to feel like Jet and Ebony magazine. Like I wanted to feel like it was by Black women for Black women. It belonged in Black spaces.
Mhm.
I wanted it to be upscale and refined. Like I wanted it to reflect the parts of us that they try to diminish the most. And because, I mean, I'm a little bougetto sometimes, probably a lot of times, but we also have a certain level of like education and excellence and refinement. And they sometimes that can be overshadowed with what they push out to mass media. And so I wanted a place for us to show up in where no, we're not a jewelry brand, we're not a luxury clothing brand. But what we offer is that type of experience. I want to offer a high end boutique experience, even if it's online. Um, just so that you are deserving of the finer things in life too, even if it's simply a candle.
So, with the stories that you have there in those illustrations, do you feel like they're supposed to just stay as an image, or do you feel like they should come to life in some capacity?
At some point they will come to life. Like,
Okay.
yeah, so at some point they will come to life because I keep saying, and these are things that I go like over with like my business coaches and mentors and stuff like that. Like, yes, this is our starting point, but Mawamo as a brand is an entire experience. So the product is the entryway into the brand, but Mawamo is really a gathering and a holding space for us to be able to come and just be our truest selves, like whatever that is. Like, you don't have to, and it's a reminder that you don't have to show up um on at all times, right? Like, no matter what season that you are in, and I say this often, no matter what season that you're in, if you're in a high season, a low season, the season in between, if you're confused about what it is your next steps may be, you still deserve to be recognized, seen, honored, and valued. And your value also isn't tied to how much you're in service to other people outside of yourself.
Hmm.
And so that's kind of like, it's just, I really want Mawamo to be a gathering space to where we will move into at some point. I'm thinking the top of next year, like um in real life activations where we're having these community, connections, and we're able to get in here and talk to and hold space for one another, and then maybe make some things to take with us, but really know that there are people out here that you are not alone and that your story deserves to be told in whatever capacity that you're able to show up and tell it.
What are your current bestsellers?
My current bestsellers are actually our perfume roll-ons. Those have
Mhm.
been our bestsellers lately. Prior to that, it was our body butters that have been the
Okay.
bestsellers for about the last year now.
Okay.
Um, but I think with the shift in the weather and it warming up outside, like people are looking for little things that they can still adorn themselves with on the go. So our roll on perfume oils have been our best sellers for
Okay.
since the top of the year.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't want to keep dragging you along here. I could ask 1,001 more questions, but maybe another time, a part two, another day or something.
Yeah, I would say, girl, you have my information. You can call me, you can reach out to me personally, whatever. I will make time for you to
Thank you. I
do
appreciate
whatever I
it.
can.
So, I want to just ask a couple of things though, before we go. Um, First of all, with Mawamo, where do you use? I know you said you see in the near future, and then you also mentioned like the pivot, where how you pivot. So it seems like you're in a space right now of making a decision for direction. Where do you see the company in like the next like 5 years? If you just had to make a decision right now, where would it be? Where will it be in 5 years?
In 5 years, we will be the brand that is hosting the pop-ups or are curating the spaces, right? That's what Mawama will be within the next 5 year, a curation house. So we'll be a space of curated makers, speakers, educators, facilitators that can come through and just ensure that we have what we need in order to move forward in our everyday lives, feeling recognized. And really, Mawama's just a space holder. It's a space holder. That's what we're going to be.
Okay.
That's, yeah, that in the simplest terms possible. We're just going to be a space holder, a space for
Well,
community.
okay. Okay. And given where you are now in the journey, it seems like a very interesting and detailed journey to get to where you are now.
Mhm.
What are some pieces of advice that you would give to a person, in order for them to just arrive to a place? And I want to, when I say a place, when I say arrive to the place that you're in now, I want to speak to the highest places that you're in, and I'm probably not wording it properly because I believe the person is very like multifaceted, layered, and we have some areas of you push to the front first, and then we have those other
Yes.
parts that are still developing. So with thinking of those spaces of you that you feel is solid and unwavering, like the way you were speaking about who you were in the military, you know who you are, and the way you speak about your company and what it's going to be, and the way you're able to at matter of factly put those images out there, and this is what it is. That means that those are certain areas of your life that you're solid and sure in, but of course it took a journey to get there. So if you had
Mhm.
to give a person like a few pieces of advice to just like become an adult and get right
Yep.
there, what would you say to them?
Um, trust trust yourself. Like nobody knows what you want, what you're striving for more than yourself. And get around people that aren't afraid to hold you accountable, but and two, that aren't afraid to push you beyond the limits that you see for yourself. Um, those I think those are some of the most important. But really, just trust yourself. Like you have everything that you need. You have it. Um, Sometimes you got to separate and isolate before everything will come to to the forefront. Um, and write everything down. Write it down so that you'll have a reference point that so at some point in time that you can go back and look it over and be like, oh, I remember when I thought about this and I didn't have the confidence to execute it. Or I remember what was that thought again? And then let me go back and check it. And then let me see if I have the capacity to start building on that now. Um, but really just trust yourself. Know that all of your ideas, your thoughts are valuable, even if they don't work out. It all helps to shape you in your perspective and the way that you show up in the world and in a very special way that only you can.
Okay, I like that. Is there anything that you want to share? Anything you have going on, any promotions, any events, or anything that maybe I should have asked that I didn't ask that you would like to share before we close out?
Um, Not necessarily. I mean, I'm out. This year is a year where I've committed myself to being outside, face to face, meeting everyone as you shop or if you don't shop, but just meeting you, giving out hugs, conversations, whatever's needed in the moment. You can follow us on Instagram at Mawamo Studio. So that's Mawamo Studio. Or you can join our newsletter at www.mawamo.com. Where we are will always be listed in those places. If you want to come out and purchase, fine. And if you don't, if you just need a little bit of sisterhood and you just want to come hang, come see me. And we'll talk, have a laugh or whatever. But that's it. I'm just a place where I'm just in a season where God has me in a season of service.
Okay.
And so I'm just here to show up for that in any way possible. So I just invite anybody. If you need somebody, I'm here.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much again for
Thank
your time.
you.